We're back. Another episode of the Long Run Archives, joined by colleagues, friends, Brett Hornig, Jeff Colt. I got to lead us off with my mystery topic. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but vertical backyard ultra. Have you guys been following this Mount Ascutney vertical backyard ultra that took place this past weekend?
This is actually the first time I'm hearing of this.
Same.
All right.
Nice work bringing this one to the table.
Let's go. Okay, so the two race directors, Eli Barakian and Justin Chapman, I think they're based in Vermont or New Hampshire, not sure. But Mount Ascutney is right on the Vermont-New Hampshire border. And basically what these two guys have done is they've taken the standard backyard ultra format, which is start on the hour, every hour, go until there's only one person left. They've taken that concept and just put it on an uphill. And so I think the distance here, I have this written down, each lap is 2.25 miles long, and it's exactly 1,209 feet of vertical gain per lap. And the reason it's specific there is because they want to give people who make it to 24 hours the chance to say that they've Everested. That gets you up to the total height of Everest.
Do they come back down?
And they come back down. Yeah, that's part of the 2.25 mile lap. What's crazy is I don't think that the race directors anticipated how competitive it was going to be. So they started this on Saturday, and we're recording this late Monday afternoon, November 24th. It's still going. There's still 3 guys left, 3 people left, I should say.
No way.
So
what's the link?
I'm really bad at show notes stuff. I promise I will put this in the show notes. They have an Instagram, handles like Northeast Trail Running Adventures or something. I know. Promises made, promises not kept. But
put that on a shirt for Finn. I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay, but first off, just temperature check. What do you guys think about this vertical backyard ultra concept?
I think it's sick. I love it. Yeah.
Also, you said 2.2 miles is the loop, right?
2.25, I think. Yeah.
2.25.
That's steep.
With 1,209 feet. That's steep. You're getting 1,200 feet in a mile. That's definitely like poles and hiking. I wonder what trail at Ascutney it's on. So Ascutney's also kind of the start for the Vermont 50. It's right near the start kind of competition area for the Vermont 100, Brownsville, Vermont, Cavendish area. Like if you think of pastoral Vermont, that's the area of Mount Ascutney. And that's one of the mountains I grew up skiing at. They shut it down. It kind of went bankrupt. A couple of years ago, it came back, I think it's either privately owned or it's a co-op, but it's just like, they keep the mountain facilities available for ski touring. So it's like trying to make the mountain a good resource for the community. And yeah, between mountain biking, running, horseback racing, and skiing, there's like this weird intersection of sport that takes place there. In my mind, that is way more interesting than like whatever the whole Everesting challenge is, where you take the lift down and you pay like $10,000.
$29.29.
Yeah. That seems lame to me. This seems pretty darn cool. And I'd probably sign up for this over a regular backyard ultra.
Yeah, I think I would too. Also, maybe this goes against the ethos of like the classic backyard ultra, but a like ski area makes a great host site for something like this because there's usually like a lodge, bathrooms, parking all at the bottom. I don't know, like especially if it's up a hill, usually like ski runs are kind of cleared out with the trees and stuff. Like you could watch the whole thing.
This is how you know it's a first year event. Finn, you said it started on Saturday, right? Saturday morning.
So I don't quote me.
I've got it pulled up. It started Saturday at 9 a.m. It's now basically 36 hours after that. In the East Coast right now, it's 6 p.m. or whatever. We're a day and a half later. 2 days and some later. 56 hours or whatever. The registration fee was $75.
Nice.
So the race directors are like putting this on for however many runners. The registration fee is $75. They're going to be like in the $1 per hour, profits at the end of this thing.
That's a great value ultramarathon.
Really good value ultra right
really
here.
Good value.
Especially if there's like any food or anything. Like, man, how long could I eat for free? Like if I get to go up and downhill and people are feeding me, $75 might be a good deal for 3 or 4 days worth of food.
This is putting the $1.40 Barkley entry fee up against a challenge here. That's crazy.
But Barkley also takes a really long time and is a great value. This looks awesome.
Physiologically, this is an interesting, like, what is harder on the body? This or like a flatter backyard ultra? Because like you get the hiking
Great question.
and then descending. Like for me, descending would trash me, but then like at least you get nice, like you get to work the hike muscles.
This definitely would trash you way more. 1,200 feet in a mile is like, that's really steep. That's proper.
So, Brett, would your get, and Jeff too, would your guesses be that if this does take off as a format, do you think it will occupy a separate lane of backyard where like the guys like Phil Gore and Harvey Lewis are good at that particular brand of backyard, and there's a whole new brand of backyard ultra stars?
Totally, sure. It's running economy versus hiking economy.
Yeah,
if you have an hour to do 2.2 miles, basic hiking math, right? And this is from growing up in the White Mountains. Basic hikers hike 2 miles an hour. If you add 1,000 feet of vert, then kind of slow that down a little bit. 2.2 miles with 1,000 feet of vert, like that's moving relatively, like you have to be moving, but it's not fast. It's definitely not like really pushing it. So you could just be a strong hiker. I think the running downhill, I agree, Brett, that would like definitely trash me way more. I think the running economy of just running on flats or even slight rolling to keep your mind interested and engaged is probably quite a bit easier, but this is a different animal.
The rhabdo rampage.
Yeah, this is like Noah Dines, the guy who skied 3 million feet of vert.
Yeah.
You know, he might be really good at this event in terms of just going up and down.
Yeah.
Finn, where did you find who is still left? Did you see it on social media or something?
So all the credit has to go to Will Peterson. He mentioned it on his show From the Backcountry maybe a month or two ago. He said that he was prepping for this event. I think he ended up doing an Everest. I'm not sure he was totally in competitive mode, but he went and participated at least. And I texted him today just because I was like, hey, I'm about to bring this on the Long Run Archives. I don't want to mess this up. What's happening here? And the last text I got from him at 3 p.m. today was there's 3 people left. So wild times. And actually,
that's sick.
Now that I think about it, I mean, this is definitely innovative. But as we're brainstorming here, the last skier standing has existed for a while now, right? That's sort of saturated.
Same concept, yeah.
And I'm surprised that the skiers haven't thought to bring this in earlier than they did. I'm glad it's here, but I'm just like, wow, like this is the summertime equivalent to the last skier stand.
Skiing downhill is so much more fun than running downhill.
So the other thing that comes to mind for me is like running up for air, right? It's similar concept of like running up for air, but they do those as like a set 6 hour, 12 hour. It's less how long can you last? It's more how many, feet can you get in a set amount of time. Rule number 1 of the race, be kind, like that. They have to take a spirit oath. That's rule number 2. But for me, this is like definitely a cool, if someone were training for TDG, Tour de Gent, this would be an awesome, like, a couple months out, train for Tour de Gent, get some sleep deprivation, get a bunch of vert. I like that it's a November event. It brings me back a little bit to like the origins of the November project of this whole, like, November's the hardest month of the year to stay fit and like get outside and do things. And so anyone who's like chasing a Strava goal of how much mileage or how many feet of vert you did in a year, it's like, if you're trying to get that 1 million feet of vert and you're 120,000 feet shy or something, like go do this event in late November, pad those numbers a bit.
Brett, is there an obvious course for this in Ashland off the top of your head? And I'll ask you, Jeff, too, about the Roaring Fork.
Mount Ashland ski area.
Yeah.
It's an easy one. I don't think you'd get maybe 900 feet of vert from the parking lot to the top, but like there's a nice trail that goes up and we could make a descending trail and, you could loop it. You could get the right dimensions for sure. But yeah, there's the freshly rebuilt lodge there. I think it's like, 2 or 3 years old, ample parking. Yeah, be a great spot. The only downside is it's at, 6,000 to 7,000 feet, which is a little bit of thin air, not a ton.
Yeah, we have. I'm thinking about Alta for us. We've got the Collins sort of mid zone lodge there that I think would probably go up to 1,400, 1,500 feet, maybe. Might even be more than that. But that could be a cool one for us here.
Is this the
I think it'd
future
be
of ski
cool.
area trail racing?
Yeah, I mean, this seems like an easy way to integrate. Like, it doesn't need to be last skier standing or last runner standing per se, but having a similar like vertical challenge associated with the Cirque Series could be really cool. 6, 12, 24 hour.
You know what? As we, if we're going to come full circle on this idea to when we were talking about backyard in the Olympics, I think as a lot of these other races in our sport develop the festival concept, this could be that like ambient race that's happening at all times in the background. You know,
Yeah.
it's the first, like during Cocodona week, during Big Alto weekend, during UTMB week. There's just like at the very beginning of the week, it opens up, and then you just see how long it goes.
You know what they should do is they should just they should trial it during either Broken Arrow or Western States. I think like adding a race that's just so different from Western States where you're just going up and down, Palisades or whatever, like the entire time and you never leave Olympic Village would be a really, at least for, some commentation, variety could be some nice spice. For us in the Roaring Fork Valley, Sunlight Mountain is 2,000 feet of vert. And I think it's a steep mountain. It's kind of flat and then quite steep. So to get that 2,000 feet of vert, it would probably be about a 5K. And that is now pushing it if it's every hour.
We'd have to.
Folks would be having a harder time with that. But there's maybe a part of that you could do, like a specific trail. I dig it. I'm for it. Sign me up.
I'm going to play here. Glad you guys are intrigued.
That was a great find.
There's a 12 hours of sunlight race that's like similar to last skier standing, but it's just how many laps you can do kind of in 12 hours. And they also do a relay. So I feel like for this one, like, right, last runner standing with like teams of 2 or teams of 4, where every other hour you're like going, that kind of gets into the weird Ragnar corporate team building side of the sport that I've never like loved too much, but maybe.
Dude, how long would one of these potentially go for if you had a team of like 4 people and like you only had to go once?
That's what I'm telling you. If the entry fee's $75 and they're feeding you, sounds like a month.
It would go until like next year.
The value.
You'd just be like, oh shit, this is my life now.
Yeah, that's actually exactly how I felt. The first year that the Cirque Series, which was COVID, right? They did the whole Max Vert October thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like registered for it because I was trying to get fit. Like I took a long break during COVID from running and was like, I want to build back into it. I quickly saw my buddy Noah Brodigan from college was also registered for it. And he was like, he crushed Salt Lake. So we ended up teaming up, and I don't think anyone expected it to get as competitive as it did. And I certainly didn't anticipate, like I was teaching biology and AP environmental science that fall, living on a boarding school campus. I didn't have all this time to like go find, my equivalent of Granger. It got crazy competitive to the point where like I was trying to put down a 70,000 foot week on a 212 foot hill.
Dude, that's so Chipotle.
On the campus. Yeah. And 3 days before the end of it, I like running in the middle of the night down a steep hill, like ended up rolling my ankle. So I ended up being out. Noah thought he might be able to carry us to the finish. The founders of Cowgill up in Seattle went absolutely nuts. And each of them did their final day. I think each did 20,000 plus vertical feet. It was chaos, but like that fully took over my life in a way that my now wife, then girlfriend, was like, if this is what dating you's like, I'm out.
That's awesome.
Hey, we started the year, like you said, with the Chipotle challenge, and we're bookending with the vertical backyard. Nice innovation on both ends.
The problem with that is they're actually right next to each other then.
Well, Jamel's not doing both,
Yeah. But
I want to
like
know what
he
Jamil
would.
thinks. What does Jamil think about all this? How is he going to incorporate this into Aerovipe? This has Jamil written all over it.
I think we got to go for the Aerovipa challenge, which is either just for Jamil or for anyone, but to do every single Aerovipa race in a year. Go.
Oh my gosh.
I think there's like 60 events.
Yeah, but I think there are a handful of weekends where they're putting on multiple races.
That's all right. You can choose one.
You can choose one. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to reiterate it here. That this reminds me, when we had Alyssa on the show last episode, she had this idea during UTMB week to see how many miles you accumulate when you do every single group run during UTMB week.
I liked hearing that. That was good.
And what would that amount to? Anyways, all right. We have a lot of stuff to talk about on the JFK front. Let's start with a conversational pace question. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say their name on the air, so I'm not going to say their name, although this is a harmless question.
Anonymous.
Basically, Brett, they want to know the implications of Hans Troyer's shoe choices at JFK, because basically he used the Vanish Carbon 2 the entirety of the race, including on the AT, on the blanking on the name of that the CNO canal path.
Mm-hmm.
He used the same shoe the whole race. And like, where do you come down on this about like comfort and momentum in a single shoe versus like having like the specific tool for each section of the course?
So, well, the last few years, it seems like the trend had really been wear your trail shoes the first 14 miles, and then, throw your bungee laces and your super shoes. You saw Eli Hemming last year with his, 4-second shoe change that made its rounds on Instagram. Like David Sinclair did the same thing. It seemed like that had been the way to go. But then we see someone like Hans essentially just start the race in the shoe that's the fastest for the tow path and just like hope you survive the first 14 miles of the AT. I remember a couple years ago, I think it was like Jared Hazen, Zach Miller, and or someone else. It was a good battle. But Jared
Kirsch?
Is maybe Kirsch. It might have been okay, it'll hit me at some point. But Hazen started the race in like the original like Hoka Rocket X to just have like a marathon shoe at the end. And the one thing that I thought was interesting, same with Hans, neither of them lost time on the trail. So then it like has me thinking like, okay, clearly it wasn't a bad decision then, because he was able to do the trail section in the road shoes. And I know there's a lot of people that would argue that the Vanish Carbon is not the fastest road shoe, and that's not here nor there. It's not. But Hans won the race, and he didn't have to change his shoes. He used that section to put a little gap on David Sinclair, and the gap never came back. So it worked. And
he fell off course record pace around mile 40, I read.
Yeah.
But like that, if he had used a trail shoe the whole time, hypothetically, maybe that would be like, oh, well, had he changed shoes to that road ultra or like, road performance, super shoe, maybe he would have been able to keep pace. But the fact that he was in the road shoe from the start, that argument doesn't stand.
Yeah. And like, it doesn't seem like he burned any matches, like any extra matches, he didn't fall, he didn't roll any ankles. I will say that like that ultra, like to get like just ever so slightly technical, it's quite a bit more flexible than any of the other major shoe brands, super shoes out there. So that shoe can navigate trail much better than a lot of the other ones due to its lack of stiffness, which like the counter argument there is like, oh, well, then are you losing time on the actual like flat running? I don't know. It seemed like kind of a wash.
Were there any major like track or road runner converts trying out JFK for the first time?
There was a whole young Flagstaff contingent of like college kids who've been running ultras for a couple years that I was really curious to see. Like we had like, what was it? Like Ryan Raff, Joey DeFeo, Adam Scholand. I don't remember how fast Joey DeFeo ran in college, but like Ryan Raff and Adam Scholand, like were both like solid D1 dudes.
Yeah. It's always interesting, looking back at previous results, who comes to kind of test the waters on what is, I think, still a trail race, like still falls in this category. JFK is far more adopted by the core of trail running than, say, Tunnel Hill or like Jackpot.
Totally. Yeah. I would say the three that I mentioned weren't like, it wasn't like this was their first trail race ever. They've all been running ultras for like at least a couple years now, but it was just like they had that like very, very high competitive collegiate running background and, haven't lost a lot of that speed. But yeah, JFK is really cool in that regard. Kind of like you said, like you can have that David Sinclair versus, some like 28, 29 minute 10K college kid to show up at the same race.
I wrote a couple things down. One thing, I think this is just interesting as a race director. So this is a 50-mile race, obviously. There are 14 aid stations on this course. So one aid station every 3.5 miles. My first thought of this was like, wow, you must have a lot of volunteers who, to disperse, because that's a lot. Is that overkill?
That's like a marathon. I mean, like the last road marathon I ran had an aid station. I think CIM has an aid station like it's like every 2 miles for the first 8 miles, and then every mile past that. And it's just like water and Gatorade, and then like a handful of them, like every third mile will have gels or chews or something. But like that's very road racing culture.
Did you guys watch any of the live stream?
A little bit. I caught the last. Well, no, I watched right around mile 27. Saw the men and women go through, and at that point, it would have been like freshly announced that Hans was like solidly in the lead, and then on the women's side, was it Jade Bellsberg, Shea Aquilano, and Hannah Allgood? They were
all like right
10
together.
seconds away from each other at mile 20, and like I was like, oh, this is amazing. But then I could not watch the next bit, but then I did tune in towards the end, and yeah, it was they it's a good live stream. They put on a good production there. I thought the commentating was fantastic.
I did about 4 hours, listened mostly.
Cool to see Cranchavoy and Zach and Rachel getting called in and these different folks on. I was dealing with some jet lag, so I was up at like 4 a.m. and was like, oh, I think JFK starts around now. And so I watched the start, and it was like super misty and like drones. Like I kind of felt like because there was a police car like starting, and that was the only thing you could see from the drone through the mist. I was like, I feel like I'm watching like a really slow high speed chase, a really slow speed chase of just like watching this cop car, but not being able to make out anyone running. But as they hit the Appalachian Trail section, like it was so misty. It definitely makes me question Hans' shoe choice and how it played out for him, but it sounds like it played out pretty well. That first pack through, hitting the AT must have been 30 guys. It was a huge group, all clipping. Like, we're looking must have been sub sixes for that whole first road section. But then I tuned back in at that same point, Brett, around mile 27. And I was thinking about like so many of the runners out there had someone crewing them, handing them bottles. And if there were aid stations every 3 miles, I kind of feel like I'd like, I don't know. I guess it's always, if you have a good person it's just a bottle swap, that's definitely the quickest. But seems like a prime race for a random baller to show up with no crew and just like run the damn thing.
Go ahead, Brett. Sorry.
I agree. And I like that the course allows for someone to have potentially no crew and still be very successful, where, a lot of the more competitive races in our sport, like it's almost not possible anymore.
Great day for Ultra.
Ultra's still in business.
Hans wins, Jade wins, and actually, if you look at the week in general, the news came out that they are the presenting sponsor of Cocodona next year. Earlier this year,
I missed that. Oh.
Tara Dower at Javelina, Tara Dower at Black Canyon, Kareth at TDS. Like, their athlete roster has been showing up, throwing down at some marquee races across the sport. Just cool to see. Props to them. I mean, it's always fun to see like when an athlete manager makes investments in certain teams and to see how they pan out over time. Like, I think this has been like Colby Gould. This has been, I think, a solid year for his team. There's some really great performances across the board here. So credit where credit's due. Yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. Kudos. One point that I wanted to make is we have now gotten to see this matchup twice this year, but Jade Bellsberg versus Shea Aquilano. They went 1-2 at the Gorge 100K back in April, again here in at JFK.
But flip-flop.
Swapped. Yeah.
Swapped. Series tied 1-1.
Shea won at Gorge, yeah.
Series tied 1-1. Like, if we're here for matchup culture, certainly I am. I think it'd be cool to see this kind of stuff happen more often.
I dig that matchup culture, and like, yeah, there's some runners in the sport, had they showed up, it might have been their race to lose, but I think that's not like how the race panned out. Like, these are the runners that did show up, and it was a really, really good race. I sometimes think about that of like, oh yeah, like I'm racing whoever it is. It's like, if so-and-so were here, they'd probably kick our asses, but like, that's not what's happening today. I think the Hannah Allgood, being in there, the three of them running together for the first marathon and a little bit was really interesting. And commentators were like, all right, I'd rather be Hannah in this situation. I'd rather be in third watching these two kind of go toe to toe in front of me. But yeah, Jade has had an awesome season. Both of them have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty diverse seasons as well, in regarding just like the range of racing and the terrain types.
Yeah. Question for y'all: is JFK the preeminent 50 miler in the country?
At the moment, it sure seems like it, because like it's like
more so than Lake Sonoma.
I would currently right now for sure. It seems like currently JFK feels nearly as competitive as like back in the day Lake Sonoma.
When Lake Sonoma was a golden ticket race.
When Lake Sonoma was a golden ticket race, I feel like the quality of those fields are, I mean, we've talked about like, oh, like Lake Sonoma back in the day was amazing, and it was, but like, I mean, the depth of the JFK fields this year were incredible. I mean, maybe they're not the super A-list like household names, but the performances were household name worthy. I mean, the women's top 10 was all under 7 hours. Is that what it was? Which I think they said this was the first time that it happened. I guess don't quote me on this, but I'm quoting someone else on the internet where it said like the women's top 10 was all under 7 hours for the first time in like 60 years. And my first thought was like, you're telling me that happened 60 years ago? But
that's just the length. Wait, did that happen 60 years ago, or no? That's just the length of the race. How long the race has been going on?
I don't know. That's what I read on the internet, and that's how I perceived it. And I was like, there's no way.
That's not how it is.
So then that leads me to believe first time ever, which is cool.
I've got at least 2 more points here before we pivot. The first, I just want to give a big shout out to Stephen Kirsch. He's been in the sport quite a while, but you could make the argument that this was his best performance in his career to date. 3rd place, 5:18, just barely edged out by Sinclair for 2nd. I've always thought his career is interesting because he had back-to-back top 10 years at Western States, and then he elected to not come back for his 3rd year. And he did it kind of in like the worst possible time because the sport just got so crazy competitive on the golden ticket circuit. And he's always had these like really solid golden ticket performances, but not quite enough to get back in. So it's just been like an interesting lesson in like, do you hold your spot? Do you forfeit it like he did? But mega talent, and cool to see him rip one and kind of show the top end of his potential. 5:18 is incredible.
Yeah. I think he's a unique individual in that he's like actually equally as good at something else as he is at running. With like a lot of his media, like movie stuff. Yeah. Like, you know, if he's taking time away from like maybe super competitive high octane racing to work on other projects, like he's like pumped out like after Western States, like some movies that are like, oh yeah, dude, this is better than your top 10 performance at Western States. Like, damn, kudos to you for being that good or better at something else.
Yeah. And he's a new dad.
Yeah, dad strength. That's pretty baller.
I was excited to see Remy LaRue race. He didn't end up sticking it, but cool to see him step up in distance a little bit.
Was he the one who got the butcher pencil quote? Did you see that go through?
Yes. I know what you're talking about, Brett. Yes, unfortunately that was cast on him.
Jeff, are you familiar?
No. Enlighten me.
It was on the live stream, so I'm gonna quote it. But basically he ran by they said, like, how does he look? The commentator's like, he looks thin. I've seen more meat on butcher pencils. And like, totally, I mean, very inappropriate. That quote's very 2005, but like,
it's very Running with the Buffaloes.
Yeah, very, yeah, but it was clever and it made me laugh because I've just never heard that expression before. So.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I guess in one sense, for the entertainment value, kudos, but that was a tough one to process. Okay, I said, two more truly for me. Hans Troyer is the real deal. I watched a few of his vlogs yesterday while I was on the Zwift bike, because that's what one does. One watches Hans Troyer vlogs when you're on the Zwift bike in Watopia. Tower to the Tower.
I love Watopia.
Dude, Watopia is just
best place on earth.
It's incredible. Best place on earth. But dude, Hans is a cool dude. Like, not only is he good at running, he's got great basketball handles. He was dribbling in a couple of his videos. He's got good. I want to say he must have been a point guard in high school or something. He's got really good handles. He can cross.
So he's coordinated.
Really coordinated. Super coordinated.
One of the few.
So he can run trails in road shoes.
Exactly. He is an athlete. He's totally an athlete. And in one of the videos, he was wearing like a circa 2018 Coconino Cowboy shirt, which tells me he's a historian.
Cool. Yeah.
And he knows who the heroes are in the sport. He knows who to follow. And I think he's a big Jim fan. He's a big Hayden fan. He's all those guys, the people of that era. So I'm sure big things to come on the horizon.
That's just objectively fast. To run 50 miles at 6:11 pace is like, that's hard to do on a flat, perfect surface.
Yeah. Yeah, that is quite, like, that's a clip. You're running. You're
Last
breathing
thing
hard.
here, I promise. I just have to, I think this race has some of the most unique history of any race out there, because most races in our sport, the race director and or their team sort of pick an area of the country and like a course deserves to be there. They go build it. Boom. That's sort of the lore. Or I guess you have like the Western States one where it's like the horse comes up lame, Gordy finishes the thing on foot, whatever. JFK.
Whatever.
I don't mean to cast out. That's a sick story, too. That's a super sick story. Super sick story. This literally, JFK was born because President JFK said, like, I want to make sure that our military officers can cover 50 miles on foot in under 20 hours to maintain their commissions. What an incredible inception. And then they never anticipated all the general public to come on board, but it became a huge thing. The other crazy thing for me is there were multiple that sprung up in 1963. There were multiple 50-mile events across the country. When he got assassinated,
I mean, you just set the grounds for me to go back to this whole 50-mile race thing, but like, I think 50 miles is the maybe best distance, and one that like you can do and recover from and do another race a couple weeks later, like whether that's a building race or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The 50-mile race used to be like, there was Western States and Hard Rock and Leadville or whatever, but then it was just the 50-mile circuit, and it wasn't all 100Ks. And I'm way more a fan of the metric system than what we use, but just like throwing it out there, like American River, Zane Grey, Lake Sonoma, JFK, there were like a bunch of these 50-milers, and most of them have fallen by the wayside. Maybe we need, and I think that the fact that Worlds is an 80K, and it's actually Worlds, I would say at this point it has gained traction.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jim and Katie winning Worlds in the long course like was the stamp of approval. Maybe we need some just re-inspiration, re-exploration of the 50-mile race distance.
I love that idea, but also kilometers can't measure freedom, Jeff. Imperial system all the way. Let's go.
It's my favorite Sepp Kuss, like, what the fuck is a kilometer? The eagle flying.
Anywho, I think that's a great idea, though.
I want to see more of it. Like, I understand why golden ticket races have gone toward the 100K of like, they want to be a little bit further, but you look at Lake Sonoma, like we had Western States champions come out of winning a 50-mile race. It's all kind of back to the like fitness is fitness, and if you're good at running ultras, you're probably good at running ultras.
Is it even a spicy take to say it's Western States' fault for the death of the 50-miler?
I don't.
Because they killed the 50-mile. You have to run 100K.
They killed the qualification distance. So I think they probably impacted it. I would say that is a kind of niche of the sport that maybe they've impacted. I think on the whole, they've, rising tide floats all ships or whatever.
Rising tide floats all 100K and
100K, 100-mile races. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think there's probably other elements there. And some of that is like foolish decisions of, we had a 50-mile, 100-mile, but 100K, 100 on like the belt, like these hundreds look nicer next to each other. I think if there's like a great 50-mile course, the race should be 50 miles. If the course is really great and it's
agreed
56 miles, it should be 56 miles. I guess to the history and legacy, like there's really cool history that ties JFK back to the origins of the sport.
What kind of wish the White River 50?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Was it White River or American River?
Well,
that was the big one.
But White River had
White River was like that was like the national championship.
Yeah, that one had some big heavy hitter results back in the day.
Ice Age 50.
Well, and like we're leaving out this whole the North Face 50 series, which was Bear Mountain State Park in New York, needs to be revisited. Such a good setup for a race course. But also I think there was Wisconsin, like TNF, and then they
had a Bellingham one at one point. They had a bunch.
Nice. Yeah. I think like JFK
Cal won the North Face Atlanta one. I remember.
Hell yeah. JFK has benefited from the fact that TNF is gone. For sure.
Yeah, totally.
It's like the November Championship 50 is now JFK, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it would be cool to just see a return of 50s and calling it like, 2027 Worlds. There's going to need to be a qualifier for that race. Like let's see an awesome 50-miler in Southern California or like warmer area in Nevada or the Franklin Mountains that can be done in the spring that has some good climbing and vert. If you build it, maybe they'll come. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
San Juan Solstice 50.
That's all time, but also not a great option for a lot of people considering it's like between 9 and 13.5.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Yeah. More so to say, like if we created a list of just amazing calendar year 50s, there's so many cool options out there. McDowell Mountain Frenzy, like
yeah, people just need to go run them.
Should we talk Cape Town?
Almost. One last thought. Whatever this whole trend or like, you had Tim on. Tim was also on Free Trail. There was this whole conversation, the UTMB series, the World Trail Majors. That's going to lead to Cape Town. And then there was this like pitch for like the Indy series. I guess my pitch would be, if you've got the Icon Pass of skiing, which is clearly World Trail Majors, and then the Epic Pass, which is the Evil Empire of UTMB, then the Indy Pass should really lead in to like the 50 milers. Own that space.
I think you're onto something.
Tim, start your own podcast. It's going to be popular. You want to do it. Start this Indy series. People like you. It's going to get traction. Change the game.
Just a nifty 50 championship of North America. Of the world.
Of the world. Thank you. Yeah. Because you need to be, the shirt's going to say world champions, even if it's just of the United States.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
NBA called back. Yeah.
Where we start on Cape Town.
Whoops. Gosh, you're good.
Oh, no, we
Keep
lost
going.
Brett.
Brett, I can't see you. I'm panicking. I
I'll
think
come back when the time is right.
Well, we're finding Brett. If you haven't watched the Cape Town live stream, go to the 100 or go to the 8 hour and 55 minute mark and watch Jeff McGavro pass Dimitri Mitriev.
What's up, guys? It's Jeff McGavro from South Africa.
Dude, Missoula represent. It's great to have you on the Singletrack podcast.
Dude, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
For anyone who's not watching on YouTube, you're missing out.
We'll leave it at that. You're missing out. But Jeff is here. The resemblance is uncanny.
I also am Jeff. There's two Jeffs here now. Brett's gone. Jeff McGavro's here.
Yep. I've been given full permission to just speak on his behalf.
So,
okay.
Jeff, what was going through your mind with 5 kilometers to the finish? Dimitri's running.
Well, I'm just
150 meters in front of you.
What the F is a kilometer? You're doing that one for the stars and stripes, baby.
Freedom units, dude.
Yep. Yeah,
We're 3.1 miles from the finish in your 62-mile race.
8 hours and 55 minutes into the live stream. That's what people need to go watch.
Yeah.
It was amazing that there was 2 camera runners on it so you could see it from both angles, and that they went to the split screen as well, because you could see it really appeared that Dimitri had no idea Jeff was coming up
at all. Fast. And I think even when he was passed, he was like, that guy might be in the 100 or a different race or something. And then it was like, oh, crap.
Yeah, there was like the 1 second delay of like, oh my gosh, that was that guy. And Jeff was chasing this whole time because he went off course for a brief stint, right?
I didn't know that. You're currently dressed up as Jeff McGavro, so you are the source of truth.
I heard that he went off course for like 5 minutes, and that was where he dropped back, and then he had been moving back forward. Yeah, we might have to confirm this with the real Jeff, but that was what I heard.
Before we get on to everything else in the race, right? I want to do a couple call outs. It's one of the best passes I think caught on live stream. Like
you passed on the inside on the berm.
Yeah, there were some epic passes from, Zagama's years past and whatnot. This was a really excellent pass. To see it was incredibly cool. Additionally, like Jeff McGavro, capstone on an excellent year. He had a truly breakout year to a next level, but it was one of the best finish performances or celebrations I've ever seen.
Just the drop dead. Face down,
not moving.
Face down in the dirt. Yeah, that was very good. And Dimitri is kind of like the king of Ultra Trail Cape Town. He won this race twice, right?
Twice, yeah.
Yeah. And is generally pretty tough to get by at the end of some of these races. It was super cool, though, that when Jeff went by Dimitri did respond. And there was 60 seconds of, oh, wow, Jeff might have not broken him. And then when it went out onto the dirt road, the elastic started to snap. But yeah, that was some truly epic racing. And yeah, going back to there was a little bit of talk about, maybe not nearly as many heavy hitters at Ultra Trail Cape Town than past years, because there was a lot of big races this fall, but it's you had to be there, and Jeff versus Dimitri is about as good as it gets. So it's I don't know if anyone else shows up, they're going to, change that storyline. Yeah, cool to see Jeff get the win.
One point that I wanted to make is the cameramen who caught that whole sequence deserve an award, because especially in the first part of that, it was really rocky. It was quite technical, and they were ripping. Even Jeff and Dimitri could visibly see them just needing to conform to the terrain. They were skipping, and it's not easy being a cameraman. You have a lot of things to pay attention to. The runners, your own well-being. They were risking life and limb out there. So huge credit to them for capturing that whole sequence.
Also, I'll push back and at least say I think it was as competitive as it is in years past or more. I mean, to have 2 of the top 4 runners from Western states lining up, Chris Myers had an absolute standout year. He's one of the top 5 ranked runners in the world. I think you've got Dimitri there, Ryan Montgomery there, Joaquin Lopez, who was
Ryan wasn't there.
Ryan wasn't there. Sorry. I saw him on the preview that I Run Far put out. But yeah, Joaquin Lopez, like there were some super strong runners in that 100-kilometer distance. Historically speaking, the U.S. has not done well there. In recent years, we've done quite a bit better. Grant Barnett, I think, ended up 5th overall.
Yeah.
So 2 Americans in the top 10. But yeah, that showdown between Jeff and Dimitri, and who was third again? Because they were all together, like late into the race.
Matt Healy.
Yeah. And on the women's side, that Ultra Trail Cape Town had Joaquin Lopez won. I think it would have made the whole World Trail Majors final, like overall winner, more interesting because he had a win, I believe. But on the women's side, Sumaya Buddha did win, and that sealed the deal for her for the overall for World Trail Majors.
Do you know what would have happened if there were 2 people that had 2 World Trail Major wins? Is there like a...
Yeah.
What's the tiebreaker?
ITRA score, index score, I think. It's one of those 2 scoring systems. It would just be like, what ITRA, yeah. With ITRA, how do they score? If Joaquin was to win, how would they score his victory? And would that trump...
was it more dominant?
Caleb Olson's, Grampians. Yeah. Right. And that's like, I think those systems aren't perfect, but in terms of comparing competitiveness of a race, they're pretty good, especially when we're talking about like the winner, right? I think those systems really get questionable as they scale back to like 2nd or 3rd or 4th or whatnot. But the person who won, they're taking into account all the other ITRA scores of the runners they're up against and whatnot. I think had Joaquin won, it likely would have gone in his direction because Ultra Trail Cape Town was more competitive than GPT.
Right. Yeah.
And on the women's side, there was a tie. 3,000, 1,500 per win, I think. I think it was 3,000 was like the max score you could get if you won 2 races. And Samaya Buddha won 2 races, and
the tiebreaker went to her.
Yeah, the tiebreaker went to her.
Okay. And she dominated this race.
Yeah. Let's see here. 68-minute victory over the 2nd place finisher.
That's a large margin.
Coming off a 2nd at Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of me was like, I wonder what would have happened if World Trail Majors just was like, oh yeah, every other year, World Championships, that's part of our series. This whole like grab and go of series, everyone wants every race. World Trail Majors isn't really doing that. They have like just a set number of like, whatever, 8 really, really good events. I kind of felt like Confranc could have fit more into the World Trail Majors world side of things.
I wonder how many people who participated at Worlds had already previously done a World Trail Majors race. It seemed like an amount. Yeah, I think, Jeff, you might be onto something. Maybe the World Trail Major people who are watching this will
they just link up with World Athletics, and like that's going to be the ultimate, right? Like,
yeah. Whatever
race organization links with World Athletics, and it's probably going to be Golden Trail Series if we're.
That seems like the most parallel in terms of just race series.
Yeah. Hey, another cool stat here. Women's 3 through 5, Tara Fraga, Alyssa Clark, Sarah Humble, all representing the U.S. Sweet. Sarah Humble, shout out Sarah, is based here in Salt Lake, which is awesome. She's new on the scene, coached by my friend Jimmy Elam, like fantastic up and coming talent. Alyssa Clark, friend, contributor to the pod. Shout out Alyssa. Yeah, just cool to see that representation in the top 5. Hey, Jeff McGavro, while we have you here, we'd be remiss to pepper you with a few sort of like end of year questions. This is November. Do you want to make your case for Troy, Uroy, like where you stand in those in those categories? What are you thinking?
First off, it's Movember. Not just for my last name, but for the nice lip sweater going on. Man, I'm so tired from this race that maybe you're gonna have to help me recap my year.
Fastest, what was it? Is it fastest?
Fastest debut.
You at
Western States, running 14:30. You placed 4th. You were 4th at the Canyons 100K.
Canyons, I forgot about Canyons.
Yeah,
just going up.
Going back before that.
Javelina.
You should look into this amnesia, Jeff McGavro. You've had a great year.
Did you see how hard I had to close?
Yes.
Yeah, Jeff's speaking in the third person now. Jeff had a great year. Jeff should definitely be in the UROY.
You were also 4th at Run the Rut half marathon.
It doesn't contribute towards the UROY classification.
DNF at UTMB. Jeff's going to crack that one at some point. But yeah, so it started with Canyons. So 4th at Canyons, 4th at Western States, and big crowning victory at Ultra Trail Cape Town.
I'd have to do a little bit more full analysis of what everyone's done this year. I haven't taken the time to sit down and look at it, but that feels like a good enough, what do you think? Like in that 5 to 7 range?
I was going to say 5.
Yeah. Because I'm just thinking, like, immediately off the top of my head, I'm like, well, Caleb, Jim, David Sinclair, that's 3. I don't know, not in that order, but those are just three names of pretty big races. I don't know where. Yeah. Okay.
Well, you had an amazing year, man. And the fact that you graced your presence on this podcast, it just I wasn't expecting. You made my day. I wasn't.
You hacked into the Ashland mainframe.
Again, folks, you have to be watching YouTube for any of this to make sense.
Yeah. And it is the on. It is the on hat.
Yeah.
It's it is the on sun. Extremely comfortable, by the way. I've never gotten to actually race in it, but I just wear it at my office from time to time. It's a flexi fit. If we're going back to the 2004 skater days, gotta love a good flex fit hat.
Okay, let's do mystery topics.
Should I share what I found on the internet this week? I'm kind of double dipping of my mystery topic bringing to the table. The mystery topic I'm bringing to the table is what I found on the internet this week, and it's a new training sensor that makes all of the old school ultra, crotchety dudes being like, oh, this is really where our sport's going. But I got a new training tool for you. It's a company called Caliber. And they have made it's like a mask that you put on that allows you to, as long as you have a treadmill or access to one, it replaces all of the VO2 max metabolic testing labs that you need to go to. And you can test it all at home with their device. For essentially the price of 1 or 2 tests, you can just own this device. Looks like one of those Bane masks. You put it on and it measures your oxygen consumption and output, and it can give you full VO2 max tests, resting metabolic rate, calorie burn. You can learn all your numbers without having to find a full professional lab. And there's a few studies on their website that back it pretty well. I think it's
what's the website?
Here, I'll put it in the chat right now. But
it's spelled Caliber, BRE, CALIBRE, bio.com.
Yeah, I just threw it in the chat. Calibre. But yeah, it's what is it? It's $550, which is really not that much when you are looking into account when you were testing VO2 max, breath volume, respiratory rate, resting metabolic rate, optimal fat burning intensity windows fuel source breakdown, like fat versus carb, calorie burn rate, etc. I don't know. It seemed
Killian has this. Killian has this already.
Well, yeah, funny you mentioned that because I follow these guys on Instagram, and the only mutual that I had on Instagram was Killian. He beat me to it. I've yet to find a tech device that Killian hasn't already found.
I gotta imagine if you're in this wearable tech space, Killian is like one of the first people you are reaching out to for product testing, for any feedback, for like work collaboration.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, you also get a sick Halloween costume out of this.
Yeah. And if anyone at Caliber's listening, conversational pace, we'd do a review of the product. Absolutely.
So wearable techs, are you guys going over under?
I'm still kind of, I like the idea of it, but and it seems like the tech is getting here faster than we know what to do with it. Like I've got the TimeWear breathing sensor, and I've done the threshold test on both bike and foot, and I have my zones, but I don't really know how I'm supposed to apply those specific numbers to my training as like an ultra runner. And it, like, other than the kind of the same ways I would do it with just heart rate. Like I'm not sure if I'm learning anything extra yet. Like it's like the actual science behind it needs more time to catch up to the tech, which is interesting.
Okay.
What about you, Finn?
Well, it's interesting. So a few weeks back, I interviewed this guy on the podcast, Scott Frey, who's a neuroscientist, mindset coach in the sport. And that episode's going to probably go live around Christmas. But the question I asked him was around this central governor theory, which is, for the audience that doesn't know, like basically your brain shuts you down when you still have, like, let's just call it 40% left in the tank to go. If we ultimately do get this dashboard one day that tells us exactly where we are on a percentage basis to our absolute limit, would our minds still try to override us and stop us from keeping going? Or would that dashboard there actually give us permission to keep going all the way to, let's call it, zero? Like
or would the dashboard limit us because it's wrong?
Or
there you go.
Exactly. So I just think we're going to get to this really interesting space where that exact question gets answered, and we're going to see some really either amazingly interesting, I got literally everything out of myself performances, or some crazy misguidings.
Well, it's only a matter of time. I mean, you see the Meta Oakley glasses that have come out. Meta and Oakley. So Meta did the Meta Ray-Ban glasses.
Yeah.
They did it with Oakley, so now it's like much more sport. Like you're supposed to be able to run with it and stuff. And like I haven't tried it, but it seemed like perhaps a little bulky for running. Great cycling, but just the amount of computing power that they're able to slam into these glasses and like have like a full heads up display. I'm thinking like, if I actually do have like instant access to a large variety of metrics, and have like if I'm running Western States, for example, and I have a literal heads up display on the inside of my sunglasses that's displaying like my heart rate, my fueling rate, instant blood lactate meters are like right around the corner. So like say I have that, have the freaking turn by turn directions of like, it's telling you like you have 17 switchbacks, you have 16 switchbacks, you have this many feet. Could be a huge technological advantage that would create a massive gray area in our sport.
That sounds awful to me. Just going to throw that out there. Like, I don't want Google Maps to say anything to me when I'm driving. Like the thought of like me in my favorite place and glasses telling me how many switchbacks I have to go to the finish. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think it pricks a little bit at like, I might just be going in the other direction of like ditch the smartwatch, ditch Strava, and like go more on just vibes. I think like HRV is one, like recovery is one like I'm always interested in because I work full time and I often stand at work, and like I believe in this whole like, time on feet thing.
Legendary.
But then you pair that with like watching the world's best athletes, like they are horizontal as much as possible. So that's the area that I get curious about. But yeah, I was listening to Eric Jenkins on like Off the Rails earlier this week, and just talking about like leaving the house either without a watch or like with the Casio. Just like, I know I'm going on the 7-mile loop. Like, it takes how long it takes. Like, just going on feel. That somehow met me this morning reading like a little bit of like a morning meditation called The Right Effort. And it was like, the right effort is like the exact amount you put into it. But if there's any pride associated with that effort, then the effort is out of calibration. And I ended up in this like little bit of a pre-coffee spiral of like, is Strava just like unnecessary, pride associated with a training effort? And by the time I had my coffee, I was like, I think Strava Dark's the way to go, which I know is like super upsetting for you to hear, Finn. But
it's only my job to pay attention.
And I mean, I think Jeff, you're totally onto something there with like, like how much outside influence, whether it's like something like Strava or something like this Caliber breathing, can negatively influence your training as a whole, or like the mindset and approach you take to your training. Because you do hear about like, like I'm just going to go, Rocky, he goes and, just goes to the middle of nowhere in Russia.
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
That's whose Strava files we need to see.
Yeah, but like we're never going to see him because he's never even owned a GPS watch. Like we're never going to know how many pounds of meat he was just beating up over in the freezer there.
I think all of like the future of tech is just probably like, maybe it is wearable, but it's just going to be your like personal drone that's following you. It's relaying like course mapping, everything, like, full intel service that's like, tracking you. Yeah, I definitely believe like I don't want to know my VO2 max. If I do know that, I think it's going to be more of a hindrance than an advantage to me. And like, I like the curiosity and uncertainty that comes with like doing this sport. I recently
did you
learn
learned,
yours?
Yeah, because of this time where breathing sensor, I did the threshold test and it gives you like a VO2 max. I don't know how. See, that's why I would love to compare it. I would love to compare it to the Caliber one where it's actually reading my like breath rate and stuff. I learned my VO2 max and it sent me into a pre-coffee spiral. Yeah, I don't know if I want to share.
Yeah, you're going to share?
Well, essentially,
we're going to immediately judge you, whatever number you put out.
76.
That's pretty high.
I am so much worse at running than my VO2 max indicates. Like, I suck ass.
Yeah, you should be top 100 in the world, man.
I know. That's why I'm like, this thing has to be wrong, or I am just terrible at running.
Brings us back to Jim's thesis statement that hard work beats out talent, right?
Well, actually, what I learned is that my running economy over like say anything over 15 minutes, trash. Like I need to get more efficient. That's what I learned from that. And that I should start racing VKs.
That sounds so hard.
I know. I don't want to do that.
This is a great find, Brett. My Jules and I were debating whether or not we're going to do Christmas presents for each other this year. And we both had this thought that we don't want anything, but now
are you going to ask for a Caliber breathing sensor? I know we said no presents, but I would really love this mask. Do you even have a treadmill?
Sorry.
Do you even own a treadmill? You have access to one. You can go to Caleb's house.
I go to Caleb's house, or I'll go to the gym, but no, I don't have. Also, like our basement's not tall enough, and it just wouldn't work.
You should still ask for one for Christmas.
Gosh, that's I'm asking for rabbit hole.
I'm asking for a Caliber breathing sensor. Oh, but also I need the Woodway treadmill.
Yeah, this is a little asterisk. I'm also going to need this $20,000 treadmill.
Yeah, we can finance out this Christmas present over the course of the next 10 years.
I totally forgot about what I found on the internet piece of this, but two interesting things have happened to me recently. Number one, about 3 weeks ago, coffee started to taste like soap to me. Like overnight, all of a sudden, coffee just tasted. I don't know if I got COVID and didn't know it, and then it messed up my taste buds. But coffee tasted like soap, and it hasn't gone away. So I made the switch to tea.
Have you tried like coffee from different places, or
Yes,
just like
I've been going to different places across Salt Lake.
Dude, that's so sad. I'm so sorry.
We have our own system here. Someone in the audience, if you have had this same thing happen to you, let me know. It happened to me.
Is that one of the side effects of Ozempic, Finn? Isn't it like Ozempic makes all foods taste a little different and makes you not want sugar and stuff?
I would love to try Ozempic. That'd be kind of fun. But it tastes like soap. It tastes.
I'm sorry that that's happening to you. I really like coffee.
I love coffee.
And I love coffee, so it's super depressing. But but tea is cool too. And I found that the high on tea, or the caffeine high on tea, is just, it's more consistent. Like, I don't get the crazy drop off that I get from coffee.
But it's not as big of a spike.
It's not as big of a spike. I think it's cleaner. And so
shout out to afternoon black tea.
Let me know if you have any tea recommendations. What should I go with? Right now I'm just going with like English breakfast tea, Irish breakfast tea.
So in that realm, PG Tips. PG Tips is my favorite black tea. I've been drinking that since I was in like 6th grade.
Can I share one of my all-time favorite Gary Snyder poems? It's very short. It's about tea.
Yeah.
There are those who love to get dirty and fix things. They drink coffee at dawn, beer after work. There are those who stay clean and just appreciate things. At breakfast, they have milk and juice at night. Then there are those who do both. They drink tea.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
I will try to link to that in the show notes too.
It's only 20 words, Finn. You know?
Yeah, people heard it. Like, that's probably good enough.
So, you're just searching for good tea recommendations?
It appears that it's been like a death sentence with coffee.
Damn.
I don't know what happened. I genuinely don't know what happened. Someone out there help me. Search WebMD or something. I don't know.
Is there anything else that has started tasting bad? Like, it's just coffee? Because like, what do they say? Like, your taste buds in your tongue, they like replace themselves every X number of months. So like, you might just have to sit in the penalty box for like 6 months before you can have some coffee. You overdosed on the Folgers, Finn. Yeah. Maybe you finally consumed a little bit too much. Like, they say it's coffee, but it's actually like 75% actual dirt, 25% coffee grounds. That's why you got to get the whole bean.
And then the last thing I want to share is this book was recommended to me. It's called The Lady in the Ore Bucket, which is a history of settlement and industry in the Tri-Canyon area of the Wasatch Mountains. Admittedly, it's a pretty dry book, but I have gotten through it, and it gave me such a deep appreciation for all the trails out here. And so I would encourage people in the audience, if you have this equivalent book for your area of the country or world, go check it out, absorb yourself in it, get through it, even if it's dry. It will make your trail running amplified that much more. You won't need to listen to podcasts and stuff. Like, it'll be this amazing history in your mind.
And I think like the human ecology, like the human history of land, you know, part of the Antiquities Act and like, you know, protecting public spaces is all of that human history before 1965 or whatever was preserved. So like, yeah, growing up the White Mountains, like if you learned about the logging history, you saw it everywhere. And it's really cool to kind of see your home turf through that lens.
Yeah. And actually, this book was way better. It's called Milltown: Reckoning with What Remains. And it's all about the Rumford, Maine area and the paper industry that sprung up there. They called it Cancer Valley because of, just like all the dioxins and stuff that were coming out of that mill and poisoning the water and stuff. But also, because I love that area of the country too, just so cool, even if it's a really ugly history, just to get to know the area and see what's kind of at stake as you're moving through those mountains or where you kind of come from.
I want to share a little bit. I had a calf strain playing wiffle ball back in September.
Yeah.
This has been a very long, slow fall for me. Thanksgiving will pretty much mark 11 weeks of no running.
Whoa.
Which is the longest break I've taken probably in 10 plus years. And because of that, I also found myself like needing to actually prioritize my time very differently. So that's where I was mentioning before, by way of Adam Peterman to Eric LaPuma to Jeff McGavro, this app ClearSpace that goes on your phone and basically like makes you do a meditation instead of opening Instagram. And you can set like, I have my phone set up, so I'm allowed to click the Instagram button twice a day. And it takes about 30 seconds for the app to actually load. So like by slowing down the app loading, like reduces, like you can't like click it and just see what's up. Like it's like, okay, this is actually a process. Okay. Now I'm going to use the app. How long do you want to use it for? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Okay. We'll do 2 minutes. We'll check messages. I go on, I check messages, and like I like breaking the scroll habit is like, I don't know what the app is for. I'm like, I've got 2 minutes. Like if there's actually a message, I'm like, oh shit, trying to like get back to this person. But outside of like people sending you links via text that like, they're like, you should check this out. Like, well, I'm not going to do that because that's one of my allotted like 1 or 2 openings of the day. And I also am answering customer service questions on the work side through that. So I try to be like pretty strategic about it, but it's been interesting. Brings me back kind of full circle, Finn, to the first time we chatted in 2022, where like almost not being a fan of the sport, or like not obsessing about the sport, taking the Instagram side of it away. Like I now check out I Run Far once or twice a week. And like if I know a race is happening, I'll like tune into some of the live stream. It's been, at least for my health while I'm injured, it's been really, really good for me to not like just be thinking about running as much as possible while I'm not allowed to run. Also, minor calf strain, almost 12 weeks off.
That seems like, major.
It was actually.
That's major.
It tore part of my calf. But
have all your dopamine levels been reset with this experience?
A bit, yeah. I was in Vienna, Austria on Wednesday and Thursday, and I ended up having the chance to go ice skating on Thursday night, which I haven't had that type of movement. It was like this big ice skating luge track through like the park in front of the castle, and I skated so freaking hard.
Well, that sounds so fun.
My legs like actually got tired for the first time in a couple months here, and felt a good dopamine rush after that. But yeah, the whole pace of life has changed dramatically.
That's super cool. Yeah, Finn, link that app in the show notes.
It's called ClearSpace, Finn. But I do endorse it. I've had some other folks in my world, thanks to Jeff McGavro for telling me to actually download it. But I've had some other folks in my world like try it out. It's like, it's just so easy to open the app. And then once it's open, your time's gone. Putting that like little barrier.
That's cool.
Nice practice. Finn, I also know both of you guys have businesses that are like reliant on social engagement.
No,
so it's hard, but like even doing social media stuff through your computer and just like taking it off your phone. I played a lot of chess. Chess is now like the app on my phone that gets by far the most use.
Here's an interesting point. We just finished negotiating all of our contracts for 2026. Not one contract requires any use of Instagram.
That's cool.
So, do you guys see, we're diving into all new topics here, but Matt Trappy's brand, like,
yes.
Sport.
Matter of Auteur Sportif.
Auteur Sportif. They were just like, hey, I saw it on Substack, but they're like, we ditched all social media. Our brand is in opposition to this exact thing, and we're trying to create culture of like a deeper basis. It's like, we're going to have a periodical, check in with us there. I thought that was an interesting move. I think maybe there is I doubt there's actually a movement to like move away from social media, but it's cool to hear on your contracts that nothing mentioned it.
Learn about the space, the more I'm just like, am I part of the problem? Like if you're creating content for this scroll-based sort of lottery system that's just attacking the bottom of the brainstem, it's just, I don't know how much I'm helping or hurting.
Yeah, but I think you're going to be able to pull at least one really good reel out of this episode.
Dude, this is exact. Oh, more than one, dude. We have a great one. So,
Finn, there's a John Green YouTube short that he's like just talking to the camera. It's called Am I Cigarettes? And it's about like, being a lifelong contributor to YouTube, of like, having been a addicted, like, tobacco user. He's like, am I now the problem? Like, am I both the consumer and the actual?
I just listened to that episode this past weekend on the interview, New York Times.
Yeah, it's so good. But the follow-up of Am I Cigarettes, worth listening to.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah. Okay. Before we go, any final thoughts, Brett? Anything else we should cover? Any other cool things you found?
That pretty much, I guess, on a running note, I'm training for a track mile.
Nope.
Let's go, dude.
Just
with a
one.
VO2 max 76?
Yeah.
You could put down.
I know. So I have the only like personal running streak that I have in my life that I care about is consecutive years in a row of breaking 5 minutes in the mile. And this year is year number 20 for me.
Big one.
Wait, shit. It actually might be 19. I got to go think about this, but no, this is number 19. This is number 19, but that's important too, because you can't get to 20 if you don't have number 19 first.
This is your Nick Willis moment.
I was just going to say, yeah, Nick Willis, different time, but similar effort.
My father-in-law, I don't have the family record. My father-in-law, 30 years, continuous sub 5 miles.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a good streak. I think I'm too late in life to really try to. I didn't realize I had done this until a couple years after college when I don't know who I was talking to, but then I started thinking about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I have broken 5 every year since like 2006. And then it's just like, I got to make sure to keep this going. So there's a local track mile that they run on the 21st of December on the solstice, the longest night mile. Everyone bundles up and throws down under the lights. Got a couple more weeks of sharpening up. I think I'm going to spike up and like really, really see if I can blow something out of the water.
Can you vlog this? Can we get Maddie on the camera?
We'll see. She's going to race too. Because they do a bunch of different
follow
heats.
Cam until you're just out of sight.
Yeah. Well, nice thing about track is you can just stand in the stands. Like I could just set up a camera on a tripod. Yeah, maybe another week or two we'll figure out. Should we get Mountain Outpost up here?
Yeah, exactly.
True. Yeah, I got to figure out some goal time. I mean, clearly the main goal is sub 5, but I want to go a little bit further under that.
I'm leaning into a different direction, which I think I'm embracing, kind of like the ego death of my winning streak. In the last 10 years, if I've done a turkey trot, I won. I think that's 7 turkey trots. It's 6 or 7. Yeah, I think this would be year 11. So I think it's 7 turkey trots. I think I'm going to enter the turkey trot, and it'll be my first run back in 3 months, and it'll be a walk jog,
actual turkey trot
with my niece, and like, super slow. So like actually just being like, all right, I'm letting go of this one.
Yeah, dude. Dobby is free.
Yeah, Dobby. But
dude, what was it, like the Norwich turkey trot back in the day? What were you doing?
Yeah, Norwich turkey trot. That was like about a 5-mile race, and then moved out here, and it's been either Carbondale, Glenwood, Aspen, Basalt. I have a question for you two, and this is more prediction side. Are we going to see like it's contract season of people making their like kind of cringe what's to come posts?
Thank you
and stuff. Yeah, thank you for taking a chance on me. And
so many chances are going to be taken this December.
Yeah. Are we?
I think we're still in that era.
Okay, because I was gonna say I'm not on TikTok, but I feel like TikTok would be like you could do like that outfit where you're wearing your race kit and then you do a 360 and you're wearing the new race kit, and like I feel like that could be more pizzazz.
That'd be cute. Here. I'm also not on TikTok, but that might get me on TikTok.
But yeah, is that like I don't know how many people actually care about, contract season of like, oh, so-and-so is moving from this brand to this brand.
There are dozens of us, Jeff.
Dozens, yeah.
I am for one of those dozen. This is maybe plural dozens.
It's a great question. We'll see.
What's the big news going to be?
I hope we get something big. That's what I live for in December and January.
I wish we at least knew when the announcements were made how long the contract was for. The amount would be nice too, but at least so we could track when things are up and when things are like when people are fighting for either renewal or new opportunities, we could be aware of that in the season it's happening.
Yeah, I would love to know
who signed that 1-year deal.
Yeah, like who's in a contract year.
Right.
Like I just want to know like who throughout 2025 was in a contract year and racing for their future.
I think Hans was, so we'll see there. Got a couple rapid fire here. Big shout out to Helena Faulkner, who I believe just set the she did it unsupported, but set the overall women's FKT on the Joshua Tree Traverse.
Oh,
that's
nice.
awesome.
Incredible.
That one gets a lot of traffic.
You started saying and my brain went to the unknown time instead of like unsupported fastest known time. And I was like, that can't be right. Someone's got to know it.
Fastest unknown time.
So shout out, yes. So shout out to Helena Faulkner for that. That's incredible.
She tried it. Didn't she try that last spring as well?
Yeah, like recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this must just show how fit she was for that Hoka or that UTMB Pacific Trails race that got canceled, because this must have been the pivot. So great work there. And then I know this has already been talked about ad nauseum, but I think that this Daybreak ACG partnership is a lot bigger than even it's being talked about right now. I think the ripple effects are going to be felt significantly in the years to come, and this $75,000 prize purse for Gorge is going to be huge. And I'm really
I hope that pulls people to Gorge. And if it doesn't, like, Gorge is a race that everyone should check out. Finn, I know you messaged me about it. Like, it's awesome trails. If you like the power of Poseidon and big water, the freaking waterfalls and running behind them and in front of them and through them, it is so cool. It was like one of the more empowering, invigorating things I've done. That race is awesome. They put on an excellent race in itself, and the course is spectacular.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what ACG has planned for themselves in this sport in the coming years, because it really seems like they're about to like try and have their own little movement.
Yeah, I mean, it brings back like I think 2017, 2018. I remember going up to the Nike trailer at like Outdoor Retailer, and it was like a couple folks standing there and like, oh yeah, like, I mean, we have some folks to run for Nike Trail, but we don't really have money. Like, we're not really like seen by the brand. And it's like, yeah, ACG is front and center. I think I'm with you, Finn. I don't know specifically like the Daybreak Racing ACG partnership and how broad that's going to reach, but I think it's clear that they're on the scene, and like in a very meaningful and intentional way, which we haven't necessarily seen from Nike in the last 7-8 years.
Yeah, and I've always felt like they've had the power at a moment's notice to take over the sport,
to turn it on. Yeah, and it's like flip the switch. Yeah, super cool. I love the that exploration of like, is the prize purse actually going to pull in great competition? Is the opportunity, and this is some of what JFK does have going for it, is just like the list of people who've run there and run fast there is long. Like, if you want to go and see how you stack up against Zach Miller, Jared Hazen, Hayden Hawks, Jim Walmsley, Adam Peterman, like
in an unchanged course.
Yeah, like it's a great setting to do so. Gorge has changed a little bit, but
seems like they're pretty set on current
2 guys
course.
went under 8 hours last year. Like, a huge advancement on that course. I hope to see good talent show back up again this next year. And with that depth of prize purse, I think the embracing that you're not always going to get the biggest names, but that by offering a prize purse, you actually could be the launching pad for someone's career, or even getting them $10,000 in their pocket to continue chasing their goals and actually afford to go to UTMB. It's like, it's super cool. I think a prize purse race in the spring also, there's just so much pulling at people's attention in September.
Yep. You layer the prize money on the capacity of the free trail media arm. Dylan has vowed to really raise the profile of any professional athlete that makes it there. I think it'll be great. All right, guys, fantastic episode. I'm going to go order some PG tips. I'm going to go check out this ClearSpace app. And also, I'm going to go put in for the Wasatch 100 and Bear 100 lotteries. That is my other, I think on my to-do list. That's my goal.
Write your Dear Santa for the Caliber too.
And Dear Santa for the Caliber.
Those are the lotteries you're putting in for?
Wasatch and Bear. Yeah. Cool. I think it's time to go local. So
right on.
Maybe I'll see Brett at the Bear.
Would love to.
Okay.
Cheers.
Guys, thanks so much.